Okay, my friend, who's the coolest Chinese dude ever? Jackie Chan, right? But for me, there's someone that's even cooler. Cause this guy got congratulated on his 150th and 200th birthdays. His name is Ching Yuen. The reason I'm making this video is because I want you to know about this guy. And I want you to know that humans can live this long if you have the knowledge that this guy had. The other reason as to why I'm making this video is because Ching Yuen left behind his secrets to longevity. But it's not what you think. He didn't get into the details. He just left us with this. And listen closely. Keep a quiet heart. Sit like a tortoise. Walk sprightly like a pigeon. And sleep like a dog. Let's interpret this. So, we'll start with keep a quiet heart because it's the first thing he says. With keep a quiet heart, we can go very deep because entertaining a sense of self is ultimately what he's talking about. If you have a quiet heart, that means that you're not gonna produce a lot of cortisol and adrenaline and blah blah blah. You're not gonna stress your body out because again, if you have a quiet heart, your body doesn't think that it is in danger, so it won't produce as much energy. And if you don't produce as much energy, your cells don't need to work as hard, and if they don't work as hard, you'll live longer. The reason I'm saying that entertaining a sense of self is related to all of this is because a sense of self is what causes suffering. If you have a sense of self, this self is going to complain about other things. It's going to isolate itself from its environment, and that causes suffering. And if you have suffering, technically your body's going to react to that, and the way it reacts to it is by producing stress hormones. Frank Yang is a guy who has documented his entire journey to enlightenment, and what he says is that now that he doesn't have a sense of self, he sleeps less, his workouts are much more efficient, his mind is more clear. He says that having a sense of self was taking up a huge amount of energy. The thing is, I have a sense of self, you have a sense of self, and that sense of self is taking up a bunch of energy. What Ching Yuen is saying, based on what we know about Frank Yang, is reach enlightenment. With keep a quiet heart, he means ultimately, if you take it to the end stage, reach enlightenment. Stop suffering. Stop creating suffering for yourself and others, because then you'll save so much of your potential life energy. If you smoke a bunch of cigarettes and you eat a bunch of garbage food, you're gonna be taxing your body. If you don't have a sense of self, you do the opposite of that. You use less energy, so you're gonna live longer. The next thing he says is sit like a tortoise, and sit like a tortoise is the hardest one to interpret, for me at least, but I'll give it my best shot. Keep a quiet heart is how you modulate yourself internally. Sit like a tortoise is one of the things that should modulate you externally, so your body, what you do with it. And if we look at how a tortoise sits, well, it's there, it sits like this, it's very still, it moves slowly, and it's very aware of its surroundings. Keep a quiet heart and sit like a tortoise are two sides of the same coin. One is referring to your internal state, and one is expressing the internal state through the external body. So if you sit still, if you're very still and you're very aware, then you're gonna have a quiet heart. Thing is, you can't just sit there like a tortoise for the rest of your life. And Ching Yuen knew that the human body needs exercise, so that's why he says, walk sprightly like a pigeon. And what he means here is, he's talking about walking, but walking fast, walking sprightly. So you're not overexerting yourself, but you're getting enough movement to stimulate your lymphatic system so that you're getting enough exercise, but you're not overdoing it. You have the perfect balance. I've already made a video about this. And the thing is, exercise is a bell-shaped curve. If you exercise too much, you'll get the results of those who don't exercise. But if you exercise in the sweet spot, you're gonna get the benefits of exercise. So here you have those who exercise too much. Whoop. Here you have those who exercise the perfect amount, like Ching Yuen. And then you have those who don't exercise. These two guys get the same results. So basically, exercise, but don't overdo it. Do a bit of exercise, but don't get into the red zone and the yellow zone too much. Don't make your heart go boom, 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 boom. be very careful, okay? Slow and steady when it comes to exercise is much better than just banging out a marathon. The last thing he says is sleep like a dog, and sleep like a dog has a few layers to it. The first one is listen to your body, especially when it comes to sleep. So this is something that I talk about in the book, The 6 Health Commandments, and it pertains to the commandment of intelligence. It basically means sleep until you don't need to sleep, and that's the amount of sleep that you need. Put your head on the pillow, fall asleep, then when you wake up, that's the amount of sleep that you need. And if you wake up and you still feel tired, go to sleep again. And that's exactly what any biological organism would do. The second layer to sleep like a dog is think like a dog. Be the dog when you sleep. And what do I mean by this? Well, imagine that you're a family dog and now you're gonna go to sleep in the garden. When you wake up tomorrow, you have no responsibilities, you're surrounded by a loving family, you don't have a worry in the world, and you can't beat yourself up about anything because you don't really think. You're just an animal. And if you sleep like that, sleeping will become very easy because you're not thinking, you don't have anything in your head. You're just gonna sleep. You're just gonna sleep very, very peacefully. And trust me, a dog is much more peaceful than a human is, than the average human is in their mind. And that's what he's saying. Sleep like a dog, so sleep as much as you need and do it like a dog, without any worry in the world. I hope Ching Yuen's advice and the content of this video will help you in some manner. With that said, go and achieve excellent health. I know you can do it.